October 5th, 2014, from the Mercedes-Benz Superdome in New Orleans, Louisiana, was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the New Orleans Saints. New Orleans won the toss and elected to receive. They would end up punting on their first possession, but the Bucs would go 3 and out on their first possession. So now New Orleans took over with a little less than 12 minutes left in the first quarter, and they had the ball on their own 40-yard line. They would cross midfield with Drew Brees hit Marquise Colston for a 36-yard pass, and then on first down and on the 20-yard line, they ended up having an incomplete pass, but on 2nd and 10, Brees found Cadet for 8 yards. That made it 3rd and 2, and an incomplete pass would bring out Graham for a 30-yard field goal, and it was now 3-0 Saints over the Bucs. So now the Bucs got the ball with a little less than 10 minutes left in the first quarter. They would end up having to punt the ball, and the Saints now had it on their own 12 with about 6 minutes left in the quarter. The Saints would move the ball across midfield and into the red zone. They would end up settling for a 29-yard kick as Graham came out and kicked his second field goal of the game. The Saints were now up 6-0 over the Bucs. So now the Bucs took over and brought the first quarter to a close, and they started the second quarter with 2nd and 7 on their own 23. But they would end up punting a few plays later, and the Saints would take over on their own 40 with about 13 minutes left before halftime. They made it into the red zone, and on 3rd and 12 from the Tampa Bay 15, Drew Brees found Pierre Thomas for a 15-yard touchdown pass that made it 13-0 Saints. So the Saints led the Bucs by 2 scores. So now the Bucs had the ball with about 10 minutes left in the quarter, and they ended up turning it over as Mike Glennon threw an interception to Robinson, and Robinson got the ball back for the Saints. They had the ball now on their own 4-yard line. They would end up punting the ball 6 plays later, and the Bucs got the ball back now on their own 44 with about 5 minutes left before halftime. They ended up getting the ball into the Saints' territory, but on 4th and 14 from the Saints' 37, Murray would come out to attempt the 55-yard kick, and it was good, and the Bucs were on the board with the score 13-3 as the Saints led by 10. So the Saints now had the ball on their own 20 with about 2 minutes left before halftime, but on first down from the 38, 3 plays into this drive, Drew Brees was intercepted by Banks. So the Bucs now had the ball with a little less than a minute and a half left before halftime. They had it near midfield, and they made it all the way to the edge of the red zone. And on 3rd and 7 from the Saints 20, Murphy caught a pass from Glennon, and they scored on the 20-yard pass to make it 13-10 as the Bucs now trailed by just 3. Drew Brees took a knee, and this game went to halftime. So at halftime, the score was Saints 13, Bucs 10. So the Bucs would start the third quarter with the ball, and they would go 80 yards in just 7 plays in about 3 minutes, capped off by a 9-yard touchdown run from Bobby Rainey, and they took the lead with the score now 17-13 as they were in the lead for the first time in this game. So now the Saints had the ball with about 12 minutes left in the third quarter, and 3 plays into their drive, Drew Brees was intercepted for the pick 6 by Lansanah as he ran it back 33 yards for the touchdown. And it was now 24-13, Bucs over the Saints. So the Saints would get the ball back with a little over 11 minutes left in the third quarter. They had it on their own 37 to begin the drive. They brought the ball across midfield and into Tampa Bay territory, into the red zone, all the way down to the 7-yard line. It was 1st and goal from the 7. And then a couple plays later was 3rd and goal from the 5. Drew Brees dropped back the pass, and he found Cadet for the touchdown. And it was now a 4-point ball game with the score 24-20. So the Saints were trailing by 4, and the Bucs were now taken back over with less than 5 minutes left in the third quarter. And they had the ball on their own 19, and they would cross midfield, and they would bring the quarter to a close. So after 3 quarters, the score was 24-20, Bucs over the Saints. So the Bucs opened up the second quarter with 2nd and 20 from the Saints 44, and Mike Glennon found Vincent Jackson for a 34-yard reception, and that made it 1st and goal on the New Orleans 10-yard line. Then on 2nd and goal from the 9, Mike Glennon found Herron for a 9-yard touchdown pass that made it 31-20 as the Bucs extended their lead to 11 points. So now the Saints had the ball with 13 and a half minutes left in this game. They had it on their own 22, and they went 78 yards in 10 plays in about 4 minutes, capped off by a 27-yard touchdown run by Pierre Thomas. And then they went for 2 points, and Brees threw an incomplete pass, and it failed, the 2-point attempt. So now it was 31-26. So the lead was just 5 points for the Bucs as they took over with 9.5 minutes left in this game. But then they ended up getting a safety as the Saints got 2 points on the board, and it was now 31-28. The Saints now get the ball back with less than 7 minutes left in the game, trailing by a field goal. They had it on their own 40. They got across midfield, but their drive would stall on the Tampa Bay 26. And now Graham came out to kick a 44-yarder, and it was good. And this game was tied at 31 points apiece as the Saints had come back from 11 points down to tie this game here in the fourth quarter. So now the Bucs took over with 2.5 minutes left in the game and the ball on their own 20 and a chance to win. But instead they would end up punting it 5 plays later. So now the Saints had the ball with a minute left in regulation, and the ball was on their own 36. And they brought the ball to midfield, but then on 3rd and 10 from the Tampa Bay 49, Drew Brees dropped back to pass and was intercepted by Werner. And so the Bucs got the ball back, and they ended up bringing the game to a close off a 16-yard run by Martin. So now we are going to overtime with the tie score of 31 apiece for the Saints and the Bucs. The Saints would get the ball first, and they had it on their own 20. And on the first play of overtime, Drew Brees hit Marquise Colston for a 21-yard pass that brought the ball to the 41. Then on 3rd and 10 from the 41, Drew Brees threw an incomplete pass, but a penalty, though, of illegal use of the hands would make it 1st and 10 from the Saints 46. So the Saints got another chance and would not have to punt. They ended up picking up 8 yards as Hill caught a pass from Brees. It was 2nd down and 2 yards, and Khiry Robinson picked up 3, so they had a 1st down on the Tampa Bay 43. A couple plays later, it was 3rd and 9 from the 42. Drew Brees dropped back to pass, and he found Watson for an 11-yard reception. So now it was 1st down on the Tampa Bay 31. Khiry Robinson ran for 5 yards, and then he ran for 6 yards on 2nd and 5, and it was another 1st down. Now Robinson ran for 2 yards, and it was 2nd and 8 from the Tampa Bay 18-yard line. And that's when Khiry Robinson ran for the game-winning touchdown, 18 yards with the walk-off as the Saints win this game in overtime. And they improved their record now to 2-3. The Bucs are 1-4, and the final score was 37-31 Saints over the Buccaneers. And in this game, Drew Brees was 35 for 57 with 371 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. Mike Glennon was 19 for 32 with 249 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. The game's leading rusher was Khiry Robinson with 21 carries for 18 yards and 1 touchdown. The game's leading receiver was Vincent Jackson with 8 receptions for 144 yards. Pierre Thomas was actually the game's leading receiver for the Saints with 8 receptions for 77 yards and 1 touchdown. He also had 4 carries for 35 yards and a rushing touchdown as well. And for the Saints defense, they actually got 1 sack, and that was Galette. The Bucs didn't get any sacks, but Lavonte David did have 14 tackles and 2 tackles for losses. Lansanah had 10 tackles. He also had that pick 6. He had the interception that he ran back for the touchdown. The Bucs had 3 interceptions in total. Werner and Banks were the other 2 to get interceptions. Robinson had an interception for the Saints. But still, even with those turnovers, the Saints were able to pull this one out in overtime as they came from behind in the fourth quarter, tied this game up, forced it into overtime. Then Khiry Robinson wins it with that 18-yard touchdown run with the final score, Saints 37, Buccaneers 31.